committee for the request for a purchase of a F-550 truck to replace that 1936 Dodge, right?
Right,
That's what we're
right.
replacing, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so what you got, Ken?
Okay, yeah, we got a 23-year-old, 3/4 ton truck that, need to be replaced bad because it got some issues, brake issue, mechanic issue. We done put about 4 transmission in it. And we got a unit up there we go put back in this new one, a pump and a tank and a pump and make like a brush truck out of it too. So, we've been out of one for, I guess, 10 years now because it was so heavy on that other truck.
Right.
It wouldn't hold up. So, and this gonna be a 4-door truck. That way, if we have to go out of town to help somebody, we can haul more people. And I think it'd be a good access to the city and the fire department too.
And did we anticipate this replacement in the budget when we did our budget?
We did.
We
We
did,
did,
okay, so
yes.
we don't have to find any new money for
No.
that? It's already
No,
all there?
It's done in now, and I found out today that it's gonna be $250 cheaper. So,
Okay.
the next meeting, if y'all okay tonight, then it will come to $67,619.
And we still have to buy the bed, right?
We
This
still
is
gotta buy
just,
the
this
bed.
is cabin chassis, and then we gotta
Right.
get bids on the bed.
On the bed.
Okay.
And putting it on and painting and all that.
Right,
So,
got it. Okay, does anybody have any questions for Chief Mayfield about this purchase? All right, well, with no questions, I would accept a motion to approve this request.
Motion to approve.
Do we have a second?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Chief.
All right, thank y'all.
There's no other business before the board, so this,
We got one.
okay, not on the, oh, that's right, I'm so sorry, that's right, this is that late thing that we're talking about. Got it. Sorry, Chief. That's all right. No, it's all right. We're just gonna make some stuff, we're gonna change some stuff, so maybe I don't look like such a total idiot next time. All right, but anyway, we've got you guys wanna buy a vehicle
Right.
here that's used on a lot, so.
Yes, it's used on lot. It's for our undercover vehicle, that was our CID, we were looking for one. We had budgeted for $20,000 for an undercover vehicle that comes out of the drug fund. So, and it's already, like I said, it comes out of the drug fund, it's already been budgeted, but they just found it Friday late. And, we had some other comparisons to the same type of vehicle that it was. The price was right in there, and this is like low mileage, it's got 9,000 miles on it, lower than the rest of them. And we had Mark with the garage to check it out to make sure everything was good to go on it. So we had put a hold on it because tried to get in before it, got off the lot or sold. So that's why the late the late notice. So we were just asking if we could purchase that if we'd be able to.
I understand. Does anybody have any questions for Chief Mosley about the purchase of the vehicle?
The price of it is, we got for $19,999.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, just, we got $1 left, where are we gonna spend that? But anyway, if nobody has any questions about this, I would entertain a motion to approve this purchase.
I make a motion to approve.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much.
Chief. And now, we have no further business in front of this committee, and now we are adjourned.
This is good. A few more bites in it, maybe.
You sourpuss, you better eat some of that banana pudding.
He said you need to sweep.
Yeah, I said that'll sour, plus Carrie Morton needs to eat some of that.
It's 6:20. We'll call the Streets and Sanitation Committee to order. We'll turn it over to Frank.
Okay, we normally get our dumpsters, usually Anderson used to repair them. We had 2 or 3 that would repair the bottoms whenever they'd rust out. And I found a company that will sell us brand new dumpsters. And we've been paying between $750 and $900 to get the dumpsters repaired and everything. And I have found a company that sells the 6-yard dumpsters ready to go, painted, everything. The 6 yards for $9.91. Then the 8 yards, what we use all the time, is $11.28. So that's not a whole lot more than getting them repaired. And I would much rather buy new ones, and because usually whenever we get them back, we have to paint them and everything else. So I would rather just go ahead and buy new ones and have them painted and ready to go and everything.
Well, so how many are you looking at buying?
10 6 yards and 10 8 yards. It's 20 source well bid. It was $22,664. And we have over that in the repair budget for the dumpsters.
So the money's there.
Yeah, the money's there. It's just,
Are they basically the same thing that we've got?
they are, basically, they have well, we've still got some that's got them, they got plastic lids on them. And if something happens to the lids, we can get them, we can buy new lids and stuff. They sell lids and doors and everything separate. So, instead of buying the whole dumpster, we could just buy just the lids if they tire up, because they do, because they're, like a thicker plastic. Or, I mean, the ones that we got now that had them, we took and, just make a metal lid for it. So, but I would like to keep the plastic ones on there as long as I could, and just buy replacements
Right.
and everything. But
Any other questions? I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second?
Have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
And one other thing that's came up, we sent a truck to, a dump truck to get it worked on at Landmark in Cookville. And, the bill kinda come in a little more than I expected. They were more wrong with it once it got up there. We went in for the rear end and stuff, the bushings and stuff like that. And, they actually had to take the axles out of the truck and send it to Knoxville to get the bushings, pressed back in and everything. Then, while it was up there, it needed kingpins and bushings in the front end. So we went on and let them do that too. It come in, $17,777. And I just kinda ask y'all to approve that where I can pay that bill. It kinda ended up a little bit more than I expected, but I mean, it's one thing that had to be done.
You want a motion?
Do I have a motion to approve the money?
I'll make a motion to approve it.
I second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
That's it. Thank y'all very much.
Thank you, Frank.
Okay, it's 6:30, and I'll call the Joint Parks and Rec and Building and Grounds Committee to order. The first item on the agenda is Dr. Neil Schultz is going to present a proposal.
Apparently he's not going to do that tonight, so, yeah, feel free to enjoy your desserts, and, I can share some information on this other item.
Okay, so we'll move on to the second item, and that's to consider a proposal for CT Consultants for engineering services for the lot project.
Yeah, so, just a little bit of history on this. Back in April, the board met with the TDB, Main Street, and Chamber in a joint planning session to discuss options for developing the lot. One outcome of that session was the idea to have a professional design firm provide guidance and plans as a next step. I subsequently included $50,000 in the current budget for that, which was approved. I then contacted CT Consultants, the design professional for phase one of the downtown revitalization, who I've been working with recently on the discussions regarding phase three. They were very interested and as such provided the proposal that you have before you. So that proposal is for coming up with a concept, including sessions that would bring in public input. So a very well-rounded process. And then in addition to coming up with the concept, they would come up with an estimated cost. I have had a conversation with the tourism development folks at the state who indicated that phases 2 and 3 of this project, which I would say phase 2 would be the stage, phase 3 would be the visitor center and bathrooms, that could be covered by the tourism enhancement grant. So it would only be phase 1 that would need to be funded by the city or by the tourism development board. So, that's kind of where we're at.
I'm not on the committee, but can I ask a question to that end? You know, I was in that planning meeting that we had over there. And, I believe that meeting was called at their request.
I believe so.
Yeah, and I'll just say that, to say that, you know, they asked for some ideas and we kind of all came up with this idea, but I definitely want to see the TDB participate in this to the maximum extent possible financially.
My hope was that they would pay for half of this, at least half of this, initial cost.
Okay.
So, I know that was presented to them, but there was never a decision made, so,
Half of the cost of this.
that's right.
The study.
The study, yeah.
Do you think that it would be prudent for us to have a meeting with them to get their agreement with that before we commit ourselves to it? Just out of due diligence for the citizens of the city, I wouldn't want to commit them to something and then, you know, they don't have any skin in the game and, oh, well, maybe not really, and we've already done it. I personally would like to get their commitment to it before we take action, but I'm not on the committee, but I just personally think that would be good to get some skin in the
Can we
game.
not just direct the TDB to do it since they are a subsidiary of this board,
To do what?
Very well.
to pay for it,
To
Participate.
Very
pay for
well.
all of it?
to pay for whatever?
Grant, you said grants were gonna cover part of it, right?
Parts, maybe.
That's for the
That
actual.
later on, not the planning
yeah,
stage.
not the
Yeah.
planning.
Yeah.
I mean,
I agree. I do know that we've got the money in our budget to do it. Just go ahead and do it. And I do think that they need to pay half out of our tourism money. So they're managing the city's tourism money.
Because this is pretty pricey, I mean.
Well, they wanted to make sure that we were gonna pay our part that day. I do remember hearing that, so, you
But we're
know.
good to go on our part for sure.
So I think they do, they need,
And if we can direct that 50% from the city's general fund and 50% allocated or earmarked from the TDB, then that'd be great if we don't have to get, I guess that's right, Mayor, we don't have to get their approval, we're in control.
that board is effectively like a committee. Safety, finance, parks and recreation, for all intents and purposes. but, I mean, this board supersedes that body.
Excellent.
Well, there's a couple of things in here too that I think we ought to take note of, and that there's 3 in-person meetings and 3 virtual meetings, and, you know, I would wanna be a part of that, of those meetings, and whoever wanted to, and not just be on the outside of this, but be on the inside, because I think most of us were at that meeting, and, you know, there's some things in here that I don't agree with, or it's not that I necessarily don't agree with, but I think we need to look at it in that we don't know how long that skating rink is going to, work. I mean, it's not had good turnout, and I wish it did. I thought it would, so I am shocked as anybody, but, I don't know about setting that whole lot up for, because it is kind of set up for that rink. So I wouldn't want that to decide the design.
That's a good
I don't
point.
think that's the case.
Well, it says it.
I mean, we've had multiple discussions about that before. There are several more things that lot could be used for than just a skating rink.
Well, I know, but it says a permanent, attractive, level paved surface where the rink can be set up without damaging the grass. That's
Can
number
be
one.
set up, but that can be still used for other things. It could
Not-
be used for furniture, it could be used.
Picnic tables was
Yeah.
discussed in that meeting
Yeah.
as well, an area for people to get takeout food and then come there. I think that was the
Yeah,
broad
and it was,
discussion.
but at the same time, if they design it around where that rink is gonna go, then,
I don't think that's the case.
well, that's kinda what it says, but
There's 9 items there.
there are.
Well, it's our decision anyway, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah, so I guess to your first point, you all would be involved in all these meetings, as would the public, and hopefully we would get through those meetings a well-rounded view of what we ultimately want together, so.
Yeah, this board will have the last say, that's city property, not PDD property.
Correct.
Right, but,
And, you know, they're just going from what I gave them, and what I gave them, it does have the ice rink on there, you know, so they can adjust that going forward as needed, so.
it seemed like there was something else.
Mr. Manning, this doesn't really address, I know that we spoke about this, and maybe I'm missing it, but didn't we speak to the need for some public bath facilities over there?
It's in here.
It's in
It
here.
isn't, where did I miss
It's,
it?
Number 3 mentions it.
Okay,
Restrooms.
sorry, yeah, okay, it's inside the, okay, got it, thank you.
Could you go over those phases again?
Yeah, so generally, I think phase 1 would be like hardscaping, landscaping, putting the pavers or a concrete, whatever, happens there. Doing that, and then, phase 2 would be a stage. And then phase 3 would be the visitor center with bathrooms. And we believe that phases 2 and 3 would be covered by the tourism enhancement grant.
And phases, I guess, are the same way. They could be changed or,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, which order? I hear more talk about restrooms than anything else
Yeah.
from the general public.
And I think phases also could be concurrent. They don't necessarily have to be progressive, they could be concurrent.
Yeah, just like any other project, you could do
Right.
it all at once.
That's, yes.
Any more discussion? Do we need a motion? Or we do?
Yeah, I would
Okay.
need a
'Cause this-
motion to approve, and then we would need to,
To the full board?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I make a motion.
There's a motion on the floor.
A second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Does that need to have anything in it that says the 14 whatever's coming out of the city and TDB's doing the other 14? Does it need to say that in the motion?
No.
No? Okay.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Is there any other business to come before this committee meeting? Hearing none, this meeting is adjourned.
It is 7 o'clock. We will call to order this regularly scheduled meeting of the McMinnville City Board of Mayor and Aldermen. The first item on the agenda is roll call.
Sally Brock,
Present?
Deidre Dunlap,
Present.
Stacy Harvey,
Present?
Steve Harvey,
Here.
Rachel Kirby, Carrie Morton,
Here.
Mayor Chastain.
Present. Next item on the agenda is consideration of minutes. Each member should have received those in their agenda packet. If there are no requests for additions, corrections, or deletions, I'll entertain a motion to dispense with their reading and approve them as read.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Stacy Harvey,
Second.
second by Ms. Carrie Morton. All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Item 3 is recognition of visitors. If anyone wishes to address the board this evening, please step to the podium and state your name for the record. Hearing none, we'll move on to item 4, recognition of employees. We have several department heads here this evening. If anyone wishes to offer recognition, come on up.
I have one.
Yes, sir, Mr. Main.
I am proud to announce that Sean Garrett, our esteemed Community Development Director, has earned the prestigious Master Code Professional certification from the International Code Council. This significant achievement reflects Sean's dedication to excellence and his commitment to maintaining the highest standards in building safety and code enforcement. The certification is the highest level of certification that the ICC offers, recognizing individuals who have demonstrated exceptional knowledge and skills in multiple areas of code administration. He is one of only 800 MCPs in the nation and 25 in Tennessee. Sean's accomplishment not only underscores his professional expertise, but also enhances the quality and integrity of our community development initiatives. Sean has been an invaluable asset to the city of McMinnville, consistently demonstrating leadership, dedication, and strong commitment to public safety. His attainment of the MCP certification further solidifies our confidence in his ability to lead our community development efforts effectively. On behalf of the city of McMinnville, I extend our heartfelt congratulations to Sean Garrett on this remarkable achievement. We are fortunate to have such a talented and dedicated professional serving our community. Congratulations.
If you want to give a speech, I'll give you 2 minutes.
Oh my gosh, here he comes.
He never speaks.
So real quick, glory goes to God, the thanks goes to a lot of people. While I earn this, this is not just mine. I share this with all of you. I share this with my staff, with Mr. Ming, and all the other department heads and the employees that are dedicated to the city. So I thank everybody for this. We'll keep going, and hopefully we'll get some more that keep going.
Congratulations
Thank
again.
Thank you.
Yeah. Stay here.
Anyone else? Item 5 is communications. Item 5A is a request from St. Catherine's Catholic Church. You all want to come on up?
So we purchased the property across the road on Faulkner Springs Road, and we'd like to put a crosswalk and some flashing lights just for safety to protect participants going back and forth from that parking lot to the church grounds.
And I've told them I'd help them all I could. I think they know that they've got to purchase the lights and get them installed. I ought to help them with the crosswalk, painting it, going across, and maybe a sidewalk or something going up to it.
Is that the old Lee property? Is that,
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we purchased half that, well, an acre of the 2.8.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
just
great.
for parking.
Right, I understand.
or whatever.
This be similar to what First Baptist has?
Yeah, yeah. It's gonna be about the exact same thing.
Well, if there are no further questions, I'll entertain a motion by a board member to approve their request.
So moved.
A motion by Mr. Stacy Harvey, a second by Mr. Steve Harvey. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you very
much.
much.
Yep.
Thank you, sir.
Items 5B and C are reports from the IDB, but I do not see Ms. Sneed here. Item 5D is a request from Main Street McMinnville for the use of the Park Theater for rainout dates.
So Jennifer Meredith had reached out, asking for the July 26th and August 9th dates for Main Street Live. If she could have use of the Park Theater for those if it was to rain out. I checked with Joe, those dates are available at the theater. She did ask, I think in her letter that had been attached, for the waiver of the fees that were associated with the rental, so.
Yeah, it's a nonprofit organization, and we've done that several times with the Park Theater and the rec center, the pool, so, if there are no objections by the board, I'll entertain a motion from somebody to hold, those dates as contingencies for Main Street Live.
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Sally Brock.
Second.
Second by Ms. Rachel Kirby. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Items 5E and F are discussions about reappointments to the beer board. Ms. Yeska Carry-On and Ms. Shannon Hastings' terms are up. So we can open up that discussion about reappointing them or replacing them with different community members.
Mr. Mayor, how long have each one served on the board?
I would have to defer to the recorder for that.
Shannon has been on it ever since I've done it, so I've done it for the last close to 10 years.
Well, there you go, she's been on it the whole time I've been on it.
And Jessica, she's on her second term, so this is she's on her 4th year. But we don't have a translator. We had Hershey Glenn before.
Absolutely, she's vital,
Yeah,
she's vital,
we
especially
need a
with.
translator.
Yeah, we definitely need her there. I just was curious about Miss Haston, how long she's been on that board, and maybe if we need to get some fresh blood in there. It's, everything needs to evolve.
Going in order of the agenda, Ms. Carry-On is item 5E. So I would entertain a motion, if that's the wishes of the board, to reappoint Ms. Yeska Carry-On back to the beer board for another, is it 2-year term?
It's a 2-year term.
I'll make that motion.
Have a motion by Mr. Stacy Harvey,
Second.
second by Ms. Rachel Kirby. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Item 5F is the same discussion about, again, Ms. Shannon Hastings, so
She wants to be reappointed, right?
I would assume so.
I haven't spoke to her yet, but usually she comes with no problem.
Make a motion, we reappoint Ms. Hastings to the beer board.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Item 6 is petitions. There is a petition to install speed bumps on Cardinal Drive.
I would like to speak to this if I can. I've been dealing with Mr. Edwards for 3 years, 9 months. He's contacted me many times about this same thing. It's a persistent problem over there. This is definitely not the first time. I've probably conversed with him a dozen times on this, and I basically told him that he needed to get some butts and some seats up here at the board level, and let us hear from them directly. And he said, due to scheduling conflicts, that the best that he could do was get this petition in front of us, and that was better than just complaining on Facebook. And so he did put forth that petition, and I do believe there is a need over there.
How many signatures are on it?
I believe there's 9.
So,
But some of them are old. I don't know if that matters. Steve and I were looking at that.
23.
23, a year ago, over a year ago.
Well, this has been an ongoing thing with him. I've been dealing with him the entire time I've been in office about this. I probably have hundreds of messages back and forth with him about this item. It's not a new thing.
Yeah, so I'm not saying I disagree with the notion, however, I can say that in my time on the board, at least once a year, or every other year maybe, that same discussion has come up about Pace Street, and people have come, residents who live on Pace Street and asked for speed bumps, and we've never installed them there. And I'm afraid it could potentially be a domino effect. We put them on one street, and then another street, and another street, and another street is gonna want us to install speed bumps on them. So,
Have we put, the speed trailer
Mike
over
Lane
there?
Mike Lane did report to me on that, about historically we've done that, but I don't think we've done that this time, right?
We did a study, the end of December, 1st of January.
Okay.
We did a study, and, of course, there's a lot of traffic that goes down through that road. I mean,
Walmart.
We had like 14,000 vehicles that went through there, but there was, there was about 1,700 that were going range of 31 to 35. Because I think originally it was asked to like lower the speed limit or something. Of course, you have issues there with the three-way stop. Sometimes they'll stop and roll or whatever. And we've written tickets there as well, because you can't sit there 24/7, If there wasn't a speeding issue, a big problem. It's just there's a lot of traffic, and then they do that. So, and it's kind of that, everybody's going Walmart through there.
and
Cuts through there.
within the last maybe year to 18 months, it was either Clearview Drive or Roosevelt Road over just off the bypass, that there was a request for speed bumps on there, and they did the traffic study, and there was no exorbitant speeding or anything like that from the data they gave us.
So.
I think we did. Did we end up doing, is that where we did that stop sign?
No, that was over in Westwood.
No, there was another one
Was there
over
another?
there.
It might have been
We
a
ended
stop
up
sign
putting
at
a
the
stop
corner
sign.
of
Right.
Franklin Street
Yeah.
and Roosevelt.
That's it, yeah, we ended up,
I just wonder if I wonder if it's not the 14,000.
that's a lot of vehicles.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
And that was in what period of time?
That was, December
Christmas
December the
time.
30th to January the 8th.
Christmas.
14.
So that was a week, 8 days.
14,000 vehicles in 7 days? 2,000 vehicles a day? That is a huge amount of traffic. No wonder they're complaining.
Yeah.
Can I
That's a
say
residential
something, too?
street.
That is a residential street, got a lot of people. If we start putting speed bumps down, I guarantee you a month later we'll be taking back up.
I think that happened on Village
Because people
Street.
do not slow down for them that much. And once they hear 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, the cars hitting them and rattling and everything else.
Could it
I'm gonna
be-
say that they'll be wanting them pulled
I'm
back
thinking
up.
there was at one point, I don't know if it was Chief Sewell or somebody, I don't know if it was on Village Street or one of the other streets. That was a thing, and they put them up there, and then the problem they had, people were going around them. And there was an issue about, because they were tall, and then they ended up taking them up.
Is there a three-way stop at Cardinal and Park Avenue?
Yes.
There is, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so people just run those stop signs?
You'll
or-
have them stop, but then you'll have them, stop and roll, they don't come to a complete stop, I mean.
It's
and
a
we-
suggestion.
Yeah.
I mean,
bored.
I can get some rumble strips. It's just the Mastiff strip, it's like six of the strips back to back. But I'm still afraid that once we put them down, they're very hard to get back up.
Yeah.
And I think after they hear the cars come through and rattling and everything else, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, people will be wanting them taken back up.
What's the speed limit, 30?
30.
30.
That is not a very long stretch. I can't imagine how people are going.
14,000 cars
Yeah,
in
I'm
7
having trouble
days.
wrapping my head
Yeah.
around that.
Well, and I think maybe, they might not, the residents might not know the count, and then maybe it's that count and then exacerbated by some speeding, I mean, are there any other options for anything that we can do over there? Because, man, that's a lot of traffic on
And
that
with
little
that, I
street.
mean, out of 5 years looking back, there's not been any wrecks at all.
I think the
You know,
concern
it's
is
not
people
been-
walking.
Yeah, and I'm sure it does.
Because I would think the foot traffic coming across the bypass there at McMinnville Funeral Home and then going to Walmart, I would bet that's a lot.
Statistically speaking, do you think that data could be skewed because that's during the Christmas holiday?
I mean, of course, it is holiday, it is, but it's past Christmas.
Yeah.
But it's right around New Year's, so.
Well, it's actually EBT season.
Yeah, that is true, and, we could do another one, but I think it's still, there's still a lot of traffic that goes through there,
Yeah.
because they go to Walmart.
I would just,
It didn't help when Walmart had to close their back parking lot. Of course, I'm certain they did that.
I would just
for
hate
reasons,
to
but-
cause another problem
Right.
trying to fix something else, but, it's the wishes of the board as a whole.
Well, so let me just ask a question, because I believe the concern, isn't that concern on that, for pedestrian traffic? Wasn't that part of what that
It's
is?
mentioned in there.
Okay, so how about that if we can't control the traffic and pedestrians are a problem, people walk, let's sidewalk let's sidewalk, let's see if the property owner's right there will give us an easement, and let's sidewalk Cardinal Drive. I mean, 30 miles an hour, that's a residential speed limit. If we've got a bunch of traffic, let's get the people out of the road and get them on a sidewalk. Is that a decent compromise there? It's not a long stretch, but it'd be a lot of impact. Because there is a plan, does TDOT not have a plan to put a crosswalk in there at Sunset Drive and the bypass anyway to take care of pedestrian traffic coming out of the apartment?
Not at Sunset,
Walmart.
it's
It's
on
at
Ashland.
It's at Smith, it's at Smith.
Yeah.
Well, those folks are not gonna walk down, they're gonna cross right there, coming out of that area. So I bet the pedestrian traffic is significant right there, and bicycles. I know a lot, I drive home that way, I know a lot of kids on bicycles right there, a lot. So, I mean,
I see a lot crossing the bypass right there.
right,
Going home.
so is the sidewalk a viable thing?
No, that's actually in the radar. My radar is to put a sidewalk down through there someday.
I would say at this point, send this to safety and streets.
Okay.
And, because I mean, I think per protocol, we would need to put that through committee anyway, wouldn't we?
Okay, very well, I understand. Then, Mr. Recorder, will you get that on the agenda for the next
will.
meeting? We'll have a safety committee meeting?
Yep.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah, so we'll defer.
Thank y'all very
yeah,
much.
Yeah, we'll defer further discussion about Cardinal Drive to July 23rd. Item 7 is unfinished business. Item 7A is continued discussion regarding an appointment for the seat on the Board of Public Utilities. Per our last meeting, Mr. Sam Martin will not be reappointed to his seat after completing a term of nearly 40 years on the board. There were 2 names mentioned last time by myself that were Mr. Bill Locke and Mr. Peter Van Buren. I would like to say the reason that I mentioned Mr. Van Buren's name was because there was some speculation that Mr. Michael Griffith may resign due to possibly moving outside of the city limits. It does not appear that that will come to fruition, and he will be completing his current term. And I just don't know, we necessarily need 2 presidents of 2 different banks sitting on that same board. So I would like the board, and again, it's a board decision, but to consider Mr. Bill Locke. I think he would be a good, viable candidate to take Mr. Martin's seat, well-known throughout the community, attorney, former judge. So if that would be the board's wishes, I would entertain a motion in that regard.
I'll make that motion.
I would like to also put forth a name,
Okay.
if you don't mind, and that would be Chad Graves, who's here tonight. And the reason I put forth Mr. Graves is he's very active within the city of McMinnville. He's, you know, he and his wife own businesses here, they're buying property, they're redeveloping stuff, so he's shown a willingness to put his money where his mouth is as far as restoring McMinnville, especially the neglected areas of McMinnville.
Sure.
And I think that he would bring a unique perspective to that board from many different facets of his life, because he's actively involved in the rejuvenation of this city and contributes quite a lot, and is just getting started.
Do they live in the city?
He is a property owner, he owns a tremendous
You
amount.
have to live in the
Oh,
city limits.
my bad. I'm so sorry. Sorry, Chad. I thought you could vote as a property owner, surely you could serve as a property owner.
Did you get that? I made a motion.
Yeah, I did.
So, yeah, that is one of the stipulations, kind of like the various commissions and boards through community development. There is a stipulation that board members must live within the city limits.
I apologize.
Yeah, no, it's no problem, no problem.
I'll make a motion for Mr. Locke.
We already have a motion,
I'm
so
sorry,
I'll
second.
consider that a second. And is there any further discussion in that regard? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. I will pass that along to Mr. Locke and Rodney Boyd and Brittany, the new CEO, and we will welcome him to the Board of Public Utilities at our next meeting. So thank you all. Item 8 is new business. Is there any new business to come before the board this evening? Hearing none. Item 9 is resolutions. Item 9A is resolution number 2024-23 of the City of McMinnville to purchase one 908 Caterpillar loader in the amount of $75,750.70 after trade-in of the 2017 model of $54,000 for the City of McMinnville Water and Sewer Department. To authorize the city administrator to issue the necessary purchase order and express the time when the resolution becomes effective. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
I have a motion by Ms. Sally Brock,
Second.
second by Ms. Carrie Morton. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for the vote.
Sally Brock.
Yes.
Deidre Dunlap.
Aye.
Stacy Harvey.
Aye.
Steve Harvey.
Yes.
Rachel Kirby.
Yes.
Carrie Morton.
Yes.
Mayor Chastain.
Aye, motion passes. Item 10 is ordinances. Item 10A is ordinance number 2024-08 of the City of McMinnville to appropriate funds to specific nonprofit organizations and to promote civic betterment, social improvements, and the health and general welfare of the city residents, and to promote the economic welfare of the City of McMinnville and its residents for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2024, and ending June 30, 2025, in the aggregate amount of $440,239, and to provide the conditions under which the appropriations are made, and to express the time that this ordinance becomes effective. This is the second and final reading. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Steve Harvey,
Second.
second by Mr. Stacy Harvey. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for the vote.
Sally Brock.
Yes.
Deidre Dunlap.
Aye.
Stacy Harvey.
Aye.
Steve Harvey.
Yes.
Rachel Kirby.
Yes.
Carrie Morton.
Yes.
Mayor Chastain.
Aye, motion passes. Item 11 is departmental reports. Several department heads here this evening. If anyone wishes to address the board, come on up.
I just want to give y'all a little heads up and don't get too excited. They're gonna come in and pave, a little strip they're fixing to do, Tinsley's fixing to do a state project. And they need to recalibrate their, plan out here. So they are going to come in and pave a section of Cadillac Lane and, then a section of Magnus Drive that needs to be done.
That one with that big dip in it right there by, okay, good.
Yeah, so, they're gonna do that probably Friday or Saturday.
They can do Ross Avenue if they want.
Yeah, they can also fix
Yeah, well,
that dip on Morford Street.
That boy,
Well,
that's
that's
straight, that's
state,
state, that's state. You need to call Paul Sherrill on that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but,
You call him.
that and, the stripers will be in town maybe next week. I've got about 10, 11 miles of striping to do of various roads, so they'll be in town.
Do you have a rough idea, time-wise, on the grates for the sidewalks?
No, I mean, that's something that we'll probably do in the wintertime.
Wintertime?
Yeah. Yeah, I've gotta get them bought and here and,
Yeah.
yeah, that's something we'll do probably in winter.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Maine?
A couple things on behalf of all the city employees, we would like to say thank you for the pay increases that you approved in the current budget. And next, just want to say thank you to Renee Alvarez and the Parks and Rec staff, Public Works, Police, and Fire, anyone else involved with the July 4th celebration that was once again hot and fantastic. So thank you all. That's it.
All right, anything else, Mr. Pearl?
I just have a question about our, I don't know where to put this, but about revising our policy for agenda items. You know, I don't know where that fits. It's not really new business, it's not really old business. But as far as getting the agenda items in, you know, I think we need a cutoff on that.
I mean, typically, if it's not in the agenda, if it's not sent out by the recorder and not on that agenda, unless it's an emergency, it's gonna have to wait until the next meeting.
Well, is there, I mean, we need to give time for the package, because some of these things, you've seen them like 80 pages. That's why we went to these iPads, you know, because they're so voluminous. So, I mean, can we set a date when that agenda has to be finalized and then she can process it?
Mr. Harvey,
Yes, sir.
that question was referred to me, and I promptly consulted the senior counsel at Intas.
Yes, sir.
And she's written a 2-page opinion, and that time frame is 48 hours. The deadline for publishing subject matter for discussion before this board is 48 hours before the meeting.
So that would,
And I'll give you a copy of
well, that would effectively fall on the weekend.
Sunday.
That would effectively fall on the weekend, which means that it would have to be moved back to the last business day.
Friday.
That would be Friday, since the weekend.
That's actually when we circulate it.
Thursday, a lot of times.
If I believe what you're saying is maybe we need to back up the time when staff gets the information submitted to the recorder so she can compile it.
Yeah, I just, because just in this, it just happens, you know what I mean? It just happens, but we have a lot of last minute things that are here. And all I'm asking is that we set a date where everybody knows and everybody's on the same page, that if you don't have it it needs to be in her hands by date certain, which means that it needs to be in your hands by date certain. And I'm just asking for that date. You know, I just want a hard and fast date. That way it's fair to you and it's fair to her, and we get all the information at one time instead of piecemeal as it comes in. I just think it would be more businesslike if we could manage that. And I didn't know where to put that, so I put it there.
So we have an ordinance, I think it's number 1874, which amended ordinance number 1861, which was our most recent public notice agenda policy. To me, it would fit perfectly in there to include, you know, agenda items must be submitted by X date and time, ahead of a Board of Mayor and Aldermen meeting. Gets a little tricky with committee meetings because the requirement for that is not 48 hours, but it's reasonable time, reasonable notification.
Which is
rather arbitrary.
Which is very
Which is
arbitrary.
vague.
And the case law is arbitrary.
Yeah, so that gets tricky, but, you know, we could set our own policy.
Well, I would like to find some way to get that, if the board would agree, to amend that ordinance to include that date. And then the committees, if we really can't do anything hard and fast on the committee, the chair of the committee could say yay or nay.
Yeah.
And then we can all decide that ourselves in our respective chairmanships.
Can we still suspend the rules if we set that?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, so that won't change.
Here's a copy of MTS Senior Council's opinion. It's very well documented, as usual. She's very thorough.
Do you think that maybe staff could spend some time in working with the city recorder as well to talk through what makes sense as far as the cutoff time? And then we can bring it back to you all.
Oh, absolutely. I just think that we need to address it because, you know, that we're gonna get busy here. Right now, we don't have a lot going on, but I've seen a time where we've been very, very busy, which is gonna place undue hardship on her, and we're not gonna be as organized as we need to be, and if we have a room full of people and we look like we can't find our butt with both hands, it doesn't serve anybody's purpose. I'm just asking for that in the, you know, in the worst case, that we take care of it.
I have a question. Justin, how many people, do you know roughly how many people were in the fun run?
I heard, I came that morning for the,
I think Bill Zeckman said 237.
I was gonna say a little 200.
Is that up, is that?
That seems to be a pretty good number from, I mean, I was here last year and it seems, I don't know what was last year, but that's a pretty good run.
Yeah, it seemed like a whole lot of people in
Yeah,
town.
so,
There was a lot in the
yeah.
room, so, yeah, thank you. It was good.
It was 270, it was 237 last year.
Wow.
Ah, okay. As usual, I heard
I
half
thought
of
it
it.
looked bigger. I thought it looked big. Great.
All right, well, if there's nothing further to come before the board, we'll stand adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.